Welcome into the Cowboys Report, where I've got some breaking news for you guys, and it's not what you wanted to hear. Tyron Smith on Monday already has been ruled out for the Cowboys game against the New York Giants. That quick decision, not a good sign as it relates to Tyron Smith, who is once again dealing with an ankle injury. That ankle injury, the one he suffered earlier this year, was re-aggravated after Connor McGovern landed and kind of rolled up on him. Tyron limped off to the sidelines pretty heavily. He was all smiles after the game, but was also walking with a pretty pronounced limp as well. Now, the bright-ish side here is that head coach Mike McCarthy does not think that Tyron Smith needs surgery for that sprained ankle, but he will not go against the Giants, and that raises question marks around if he'll play the week after that. When healthy, Tyron Smith is one of the best left tackles in the entire NFL. He's up there with Trent Williams as maybe 1, 2 in whatever order you want to put them in. When he is out there, when he is healthy, even though he hasn't been 100% since coming back initially, Tyron is a star. There aren't very many better left tackles in the NFL, and the numbers back that up, right? He's been the best run blocker outside of maybe Zach Martin, but actually I think it's been Tyron this year for the Dallas Cowboys. 2 sacks, 3 hits, 3 hurries. That is fantastic production over, we'll round and say, half a season so far this year. That pressure allowed number is substantially low. The problem with Smith is what it's been for years now. It's the health. If you get 12, 13 games out of Tyron Smith, you feel great about those 12 and 13. It's the other 3 to 4 and maybe 4 to 5 this year that you don't feel quite the same way about because your backup left tackle situation, like it is for pretty much every team across the NFL, is not particularly great. That's why we always look at potential backup left tackles in the NFL draft, but it's tough to draft just a backup with a premium pick. At some point, that's got to change for the Dallas Cowboys. So as it relates to this week's game against the Giants, what is your panic level over not having Tyron Smith? This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Let the ad play. While it plays, head down to the comment section and scale it for me, 1 to 10. Of course, 1 low end to the high end. Get those votes in for me in the comment section. Now, short term against the Giants, I'm not that concerned. I think it's more of a 2 or 3 short term. Long term, it's a little bit higher because that ankle is being a nagging issue right now. The Cowboys should be just fine against the New York Giants. You don't really need Tyron Smith out there. The Giants are bad. They're banged up. You should be able to win. Even if it's been a bit ugly like it's been the past couple weeks, you should be able to win that game. What I want for the Cowboys is for Tyron to get healthy sooner than later, because the next 2 games after the Giants game, Washington, Arizona, you may or may not have clinched the division by the time you get to Week 16. You're on the verge of doing that right now with a win and an Eagles win over Washington. It's that Arizona game. That's the one you really need Tyron Smith out there. To improve your seeding beyond the number 4 seed, you can't really afford more than 1 loss in your final 4 games. Took care of business in Week 14 as ugly as it was, but you got to find ways to win football games down the stretch and get your offense figured out. Because the offense right now is it's not good. It is an issue, which is not what any of us thought we were going to be saying after the first couple weeks this year, where the offense looked unstoppable, and now they look very much stoppable at the current moment. Not having Tyron Smith, my deep fear is it will result in more coward play calling and decision making from this Cowboys offense of throwing it short of the sticks. I don't know if that's Kellen Moore or Dak Prescott or both, but it's bad and it needs to stop. Hopefully, in this final month of the season, the Cowboys can get the offense looking like what we saw at the beginning of the year. And if that's the case, they can do some damage in the postseason. So we'll stick with just 1 game at a time here. I want you guys to predict the score for me of the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Get those score predictions in for me in the comment section. To help you get as accurate as possible, here are the odds this week. Dallas opening as a 10.5-point favorite on the road against the New York Giants. Vegas expecting Dallas to handle the Giants fairly easily. They've been on the road the past 2 weeks. They've covered the spread in both of them, as ugly as those games have looked at points. If you want to bet on the Cowboys, do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. You can get a 125% deposit bonus when you head over to chatsports.com/bet and you use promo code Cowboys125. Again, gotta put down at least $100. But if you use the promo code Cowboys125 at chatsports.com/bet, even if you get some bets wrong, like I have as of late, there's still a ton of money left to make some money with on BetUS. Let's look now at how the Cowboys, hopefully short term, will attempt to replace Tyron Smith. Now, what was interesting in the game against Washington, with La'el Collins going to start over Terence Steele, came back from the COVID list this week, Dallas did not put Terence Steele on the left side like they had at various points this season. Instead, Tyron Smith went over to the left side of the offensive line and I thought played pretty decently. Now, to be clear, the Washington football team edge rushers are bad. That is a bad group of a lot of low-end replacement-level talent. So you're hoping Nsekhe fared well. That's why I was a bit disappointed by the play of both Steele and Collins in that game against Washington. But Steele is the one who started at left tackle when the Cowboys didn't have Tyron Smith for those 3 games earlier this season. So now the question is, okay, Tyron's out. Who's at left tackle? Make those predictions for me. Type TN for Tyron Smith, LC for La'el Collins, who I think is the least likely of that group since he hasn't gotten that much work on the left side, or TS for Terence Steele. Pick a left tackle for me right now in the comments. Terence Steele is a different football player when he is lined up on the left side, and I wonder if it has been to a detriment to him overall since he hasn't been the same since he shuffled over there from the left side to the right side. Look at the production this year. Left tackle versus right tackle. Over double the snaps. All of the sacks Steele has allowed this year have come on the left side. More hits and almost as many hurries. Total pressures, by the way. Favors the right side substantially. The run grade, which is an average of all the games so far this year, since I can't do the total grades because the PFF math is weird, but favors the right side. But La'el Collins is in there at right tackle, and I suspect going to stay. Although maybe, if you want to get really weird with it, maybe you take advantage of this situation and put La'el Collins over at left guard, which I wonder if that's the Cowboys' plan for next year. But that's a lot of shuffling, which has already had too much shuffling for the offensive line. Tyron Smith at left tackle I thought he was good against Washington. Not great in his other limited opportunities so far this year. I mean, those numbers, sack hits, hurries, are almost the same as Tyron Smith, who's got like 600 more snaps. Whoever is at left tackle, this is very clear. The Cowboys must find a way to help and chip and ensure that those Giants edge rushers, even though they're not the best grouping out there, though I have been pretty damn impressed by Azeez Ojulari this season, make sure you protect your quarterback, who I don't think has a lot of trust right now in this current Cowboys offensive line. Now, it is Cowboys versus Giants week, and I've got one goal beyond, Dallas winning the football game. I want to beat the Giants' actual YouTube channel. Now, I think we're ahead. I can track the exact number for the Cowboys report, but I only get rounded numbers for the Giants. As we sit right now, 116.9, we're like 20 away from getting to 117. So I think we're beating the Giants, but I can't confirm that at the moment. What I can confirm is if the Cowboys report has more subs than the Giants YouTube channel come kickoff, guaranteed win. So sub if you want the Cowboys to beat the Giants and clinch a playoff spot, by the way. Some more injury notes here, as there were some interesting tidbits coming out of Mike McCarthy's press conference today. McCarthy's feeling better about Tony Pollard being able to play this week against the Giants. He was inactive against the football team. I didn't think he was going to play. When it came out, it was the torn plantar fasciitis. And given the Cowboys' history of making it seem like guys might play, and then CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper's limited, I felt like he wasn't going to play. That ended up being the case. McCarthy said he feels better, though, about Pollard being able to play this week, which is good. because he is your best back at the current moment. Zeke is clearly still banged up, but now you're worried about Tony Pollard being a bit banged up. I would take this approach. Maybe it's time to not run the ball up the middle so much. Still an issue. They did not run the ball that effectively last week. Corey Clement got involved, and it was overall. So pick a running back one for me for this week. It's a trick question, by the way, because the right answer is CeeDee Lamb, but that's a different conversation. Maybe tomorrow we'll dive into that one to play Lamb more at running back. Although there's an issue with that now, too. Pick a running back for me. RB1 for 1 week. TP for Tony Pollard. EE for Ezekiel Elliott. Little issue I mentioned in terms of Lamb playing running back. Another positive COVID test for the Dallas Cowboys. Cedrick Wilson has tested positive for COVID-19. He is going on that list, and that means he is unlikely, although not a guarantee to miss the game, unlikely to play against the Giants. The typical process for players has been around a 10-day recovery time to be cleared of symptoms, do all that stuff. Going on the list on a Monday gives him one of the better chances to be out there, but I wouldn't get my hopes up there. It's another player on a rapidly growing list across the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys. That means Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup in your top three, with Noah Brown on IR. Malik Turner is now wide receiver 4, and those of you who are big-time Simi Fehoko truthers, he's wide receiver 5. That does have a pretty big special teams impact, by the way. Wilson has served as a part-time punt returner with CeeDee Lamb, and Trayvon Diggs getting some run there as well. Wilson's been solid this year. As the entire Cowboys offense has collapsed in recent weeks, his drop issues have become a problem once again, as the entire Cowboys team just can't seem to get it figured out. But he will likely, not guarantee, but likely be out against the Giants.